Hello, my name is Dolly. If there's one thing that gets me excited about drawing, it's art styles. I love looking at different art styles as references when I'm drawing. I think it's safe to say that as an artist, a lot of your personal style comes from things that you liked when you were younger, and I have a lot of things that inspired me. So, I thought it would be fun to try and draw on the art styles that have inspired me for so long. I know that an art style challenge is not unheard of within the art community, but for this video, I wanted to focus on art styles that were, for the most part, very different than my own. This helped me get a good idea on which ones to narrow down, leaving us with a total of 6 styles. Our test subject for this video is going to be Carlette. Carlette is a character of mine from the Carlette show, but the only thing we need to worry about right now is her art style. So let's move on over to the art style raffle. Okay, so first up we have Glitter Force, or Smile PreCure, depending on where you watched it. PreCure is a magical girl franchise that was first introduced in 2004, and one of the mini-series was Smile PreCure. It was then released with the name Glitter Force in America as a Netflix exclusive. Personally, I do prefer the name Smile PreCure, but since I originally knew it as Glitter Force, I'll just call it that for the rest of the video. The anime centers around 5 magical girls and their pixie, Candy, who is voiced by Debbie Derryberry, who also voices G1 Draculaura and Jimmy Neutron, which is really neat. They fight monsters and save humanity from evil. Pretty standard magical girl stuff. In America, all of the girls' names starts with glitter, like Glitter Lucky, Glitter Sunny, while in Japan their names start with Cure, so Cure Happy, Cure March, Cure Sunny. I think my favorite Glitter Force girl is Glitter Lucky, because honestly, I just really like her hair. But I love all of the girls, especially Candy. She's so cute. So for Carlette, I definitely wanted her to look like she was a PreCure, even if she was still a poodle. So I tried to keep a poodle silhouette, but still have it look like one of the Glitter Force outfits. I should also probably point this out, just in case anybody gets confused, but this isn't her fur. This is just the outfit she wears on the show. I have drawn her without this outfit before, but basically, the closest thing I can get to as a reference to what this would look like is this. No one has ever thought it was fur, but I did want to make sure. It was interesting to try and draw Carlette in an anime art style, since that is pretty drastically different from her original look, and I have to admit I was nervous that she would come out looking really scary. With all of the styles in this video, I do try to hang on to key landmarks of her design, like her bow and her little headpiece, and here I tried to translate them into something that aligned more with a PreCure outfit. And here's PreCure Carlette. I can't lie, I was super nervous to do this one, because I haven't drawn in an anime art style in forever. But I think I was able to keep it pretty in line with the show's style. Let's move back over to the style raffle. Okay, so this one is a little more niche, I guess you could say. Smile for Me is a spooky indie game about helping your friends with their problems, however weird they may be, and discovering what is going on with the mysterious Dr. Habit. The art style is very unique and shape-oriented, and has a very 60s cartoon art style. They use noise and chromatic aberration on almost every single thing in the game, including the characters. So, for Carlette, I tried to pronounce the shapes in her design a little more dramatically to fit in with the rest of the characters. Like, to contrast with how many circles she has, I made her beehive a lot more of a squarish triangle. I also really like the way some of the characters have super long fingers, so I gave her those as well. I honestly just love how absolutely wacky this game is, and I really love how it's heavily played in with the art style. I tried to get it as close as possible to an in-game sprite, including the blue outline all the characters have. My goal with all of these designs is to get it to look like it could believably fit into whatever piece of media I'm replicating. And here she is! I really like this one. It's just so different from my usual art style, and it's just fun to see her like this. It's raffle time! we've got another pretty specific art style. I was one of many who used to play Moshi Monsters back when it was still up. Moshi Monsters was a kid's online world that started in 2008 and ended in 2019. You could choose from a handful of monster types, get clothes, and collect moshlings. Fun fact, I was terrified of Dr. Strangeglove when I first played the game. Specifically of that music video that would play when you clicked on his wanted poster. I don't know why. I think the idea that he was going to take my moshlings by breaking into my house was the part that freaked me out. So, for Carlette, I decided to give her more of a moshling look. I thought she would lend herself a little better to the look of a moshling than one of the playable monsters like Poppet. I didn't vary my line weight for this design because I noticed that unless there was a really dynamic pose, Moshi Monsters didn't really vary their line thickness. This art style is definitely the most marketable plushie of all the styles, but since that was one of the main points of the moshlings, I think she succeeded. I wonder how rare of a moshling she would be. Guess who's been playing a lot of 3DS Yokai Watch? Me! I love Yokai Watch. It's probably one of the most unique monster catcher games that I've seen. On the subject of unique art styles, Yokai Watch is a master. The yokai are all wildly different and unique, but the human designs are also just as interesting. Like, in the games, all of the shop owners look like the food they sell. So, translating Carlette into the style was a little difficult because, while it is very unique, there's so many things to take into consideration when designing her. Moshlings follow the idea of cute and marketable, and PreCures are pretty and super detailed. But yokai can kinda be anything. Cats, walls, seaweed, cute, cool, creepy. Too many options. I decided that Carlette would best fit in the cute category considering she is a pink poodle. I could see doing Valentine or Pinky as a creepy yokai. Decided to give her the kind of nub-like feet that Jibanyan has, and of course, a really exaggerated mouth. Yokai Watch seems to do a lot of their shading with black, which is an interesting thing I never noticed until now. Another really important thing I noticed while doing all of these styles is the type of textures and line weight they all have. For example, with Yokai Watch, all of the line art has this very thick and blotchy ink look to it. So I tried to use a pen that was close as possible to what they had. I also wanted to replicate the way that they drew poodles in Yokai Watch as close as possible, but considering that these two were my references, it was a bit of a challenge to try and make her a cute poodle. So while I did reference them for how her hair would look, I instead looked at yokai like Casanova for her face. If you're someone who has never heard of Yokai Watch and you're interested in it by this video, I would definitely recommend checking it out. There is an anime that I have watched, and it's pretty good, but I would definitely recommend the games. I especially recommend Yokai Watch 2 Bony Spirits or Fleshy Souls. Both of those are just variations of the same game. It's similar to what Pokemon usually does. In my opinion, these two are the best Yokai Watch experiences. There is a fourth Yokai Watch game for the Nintendo Switch, and from what I've seen, it looks really good. But unfortunately, it is a Japan exclusive. But that hasn't stopped me before, and I doubt it'll stop me this time. But again, if you're somebody who really likes Pokemon and want to play a game that's kind of like that, but just a little more unique, then I would definitely recommend Yokai Watch to you. It's kind of like Pokemon if Pokemon wasn't afraid to randomly get really scary at points. Yokai Watch definitely seems like one of those things that everybody loved, and now they just kind of forgot about it. So if you remember Yokai Watch, definitely let me know in the comments. And here is Carlette in the Yokai Watch art style. I definitely think she would be a charming yokai. So, for this one, we're doing G1 Monster High. I decided to go with G1 because G3's art style keeps fluctuating. They seem to have gotten a consistent style now in the box art, but that seems like it could still change. I had a bit of an easier time with this style because half human and half animal monsters do exist in Monster High, so I didn't have to jump through too many hoops to make her fit. Of Granted, her makeup and outfit had to be modified a little, like how I had to give her an actual nose. I did add a couple things to make her seem more like an actual Monster High doll, like the little skeleton and phone purse. I was able to have some fun with her eyelashes and make them super thick. I also added fishnet to her outfit to help her fit in with the gothic fashion G1 had. She also has lips in this one! She's one of the few Carlette show characters I don't draw with lips. And I didn't want to make these lips red because then I felt that they would stick out too much and make her look less like herself, so I gave her black lips instead. Monster High characters have such skinny little fingers in the official art. They were very interesting to draw. I guess if she was a Monster High, she would be classified as a werepoodle. Kind of just the less edgy version of a werewolf. Another very interesting thing that I noticed about the G1 art style is that they use a lot of gradients to do their shading. I wanted to find a way to implement this in her design, so I did a lot of different gradients all over her hair. It was also a very good way to differentiate all of the pink that she has going on. And here is our G1 Monster High Carlette. Let's do one final raffle. Oh boy. I used to really like Garfield a long time ago. Like a lot. I had a bunch of the older comics of when Garfield used to walk on 4 legs. Sometimes I do forget this is what he looks like now. I get a little jump scared whenever I see the modern version of him out in the wild. Carlette was definitely more suited to resemble the Garfield animals instead of the humans. I don't think I'd be able to look at John Arbuckle Carlette. I definitely wanted to go with more of a sophisticated look that the cats of Garfield have versus the dogs, just because it lines up more with her character and because poodles are considered to be a little more respectable, I guess you could say. I could only find 2 images of poodles in Garfield, and one was from the CGI show, so not much to look at there. I mean, if Carlette was a cat, she would literally just look like Arlene. But that's okay, because I love Arlene. She's very cute. Since there really isn't shading in Garfield, I tried to add some visual interest by adding a little thought bubble next to her. And here she is. I think she'd be friends with Normal, honestly. So, that was my art style challenge. It is really interesting to draw on different styles and get a sense of what the artists were thinking. Like the use of colored line art in Moshi Monsters or the gradients in Monster High. Observations I probably wouldn't have thought about just by looking at the designs. I would love to hear which art style you liked the most. Personally, they're all so wildly different from each other that it's hard to weigh them against each other. But I am really proud of how they turned out. And thank you, Carlette, for your sacrifice in the name of ARTSTYLES. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're new around here, I have some other videos that you might like drawing all the smiling critters, or turning LPS into fashion dolls. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye!